So I wanted to come in today and talk about Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. Yes, I finished it last night. I thought it was going to be a faster game, to be honest with you. Reading, going on howlongtobeat.com and hearing people saying they've completed it in about 15 or 16 hours without doing all the side quests and without getting all of the different jars and coins and everything else you need in the game. They just kind of blasted through it in about 15 or 16 hours. I thought, okay, I'll probably hit it around. Usually when I read those things, I tack on about 4 or 5 more hours for me, and we're good to go. But no. I put in 70 hours to this game. Yeah, no joke. I can't believe it myself. Because I'll be honest with you, some of the bosses took many hours to beat, where I had to put it down and come back the next day when I had a break in my work day to get back to it and try to beat a boss. It was that tough, some of these bosses. And I played on normal mode. I didn't play on any expert mode, and I certainly didn't play on easy mode. I played on the normal mode in this game. So we'll get more into the bosses here in a minute. We'll get into more of the gameplay in a minute. But first, I do want to talk about just the style of this game. I played it on the Nintendo Switch, and I have to say, I noticed almost no problems at all. There was one time towards the end where I had a weird crash. I had been playing this one boss over and over again, and then boom, the game kind of reset itself, and I found myself just after a save state, but in a weird location with like a zoomed in kind of an effect. That was literally the only issue that I had in 70 hours of playing this on the Nintendo Switch, both in handheld mode and in docked mode. So playing it on the Nintendo Switch, I had a blast. I thought it looked fantastic, and I think it played really great. Again, both in handheld and in the docked mode. Right out of the gate, I fell in love with the character models, the character designs in this game. I thought the artwork and graphics were beautiful, really lively and colorful, and it added an element of kind of like a painterly aspect to this game, which I really appreciated. Almost a cinematic platformer, if you will. I know that's the name given to these things, but it really is beautiful to look at. And a lot of the different worlds that you're in, when you're in the dungeons, when you're in a sewer at one point, when you're up in the sky, you're in these beautiful palaces, you're in an old sacred scrolls room, like a library, and these scrolls are floating around. It's all very gorgeous, atmospheric, and beautiful. So the scenery of this game is just gorgeous, right? The story, yes, there's a story. Do I play a game like this because I want to be ensconced in some big story? No, but there was enough of a story here. You play as Sargon, not the Prince of Persia. You learn right away that Sargon is your name. The Prince of Persia has actually been kidnapped. So the whole game, you're really trying to get this real Prince of Persia, trying to rescue the real Prince of Persia. And then you've got a group of individuals who are around you, who you think are your friends, and who basically backstab you, and you have to then kind of deal with all of them throughout the story. And that's kind of very beginning of the story, and then it flows from there. But I really think you're coming to a game like this because the combat and the puzzle solving. That's exactly why you're in a Metroidvania experience, right? So I loved a comment that I got the other day on a video that I published where someone said, "How dare you promote the Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown? It's a hack and slash game with no puzzles in it." And I thought, wow, this person who left me a comment on my 2024 video clearly didn't play this game at all, because it's not a hack and slash game. In fact, it's very precise in all the combo combinations or the combat combinations that you have to employ. You know, whether I'm left up, Y, to do a backflip and hit 4 times, and trust me, there's a lot involved in these combo moves to get these things fluid and beautiful, and sliding underneath the legs of an enemy, slashing up and jumping up in midair and doing. It's not a hack and slash. To me, I think of a hack and slash game as like Diablo, where I'm pressing one button over and over again and just hacking with a sword, hacking my way through. That to me, anyone can do that. I could put a monkey there, just hit a button over and over. So that's not this at all. And puzzles, but there's puzzles aplenty in this, a cornucopia of puzzles. So many puzzles. It's a puzzle platforming game. And there's difficult ones. There's very difficult puzzles. And combine the puzzles with the platforming. These are some of the most difficult platforming puzzles I've ever played in a game before. That's a lot of alliteration. Puzzle platforming puzzles. I don't know what this person was talking about. I mean, I had a blast trying to figure out all of these different puzzles throughout the game, and platforming at the same time. I will say, holy smokes, some of these puzzles and platforming were so difficult. Take for instance, these blade levels where you're having to jump through, time your dashes, backflips, in order to get all the way across a room without touching the ground. Just to get the prize at the end of this tunnel, and then to go all the way back in midair, mind you. That's not easy. And there were some times that took me an hour just to get through one little section of the game, in order to get the one jar that I needed in order to get close to being a completionist in this game. In the end, I didn't complete it. I didn't get 100% in this, but I got very, very close. So let's talk about some of the combat here. The combat is fluid and gorgeous, and to me, the most appealing part of this game. To be able to backflip in midair is just beautiful. To be able to slide down with your sword swipes and to be able to slide under the legs of an enemy, timing things just right, and the parrying in this game is just beautiful. Oh, it's so satisfying when someone hacks a sword at you or shoots an arrow at you and you parry those things away at the right moment. And when you do, of course, you're building up Athra energy so that you can launch some big burst attack. It's just so enjoyable. Oh my gosh, yes. The parrying and combat in this game is beautiful and fantastic. Of course, this will remind many of you of Metroid Dread, and there's a precision about your boss fights and your enemies, of course being chased by EMMIs in Metroid Dread. There's a precision there, and there is a precision in this game. You have to be precise with your combat, you have to be precise with your boss battles. Which brings me to some of these boss battles. Oh my gosh. There were 3 that I can count. I think maybe 4, but 3 really stand out to me that took many hours to beat. And I don't know how you beat some of these guys in less amount of time. I really don't. Because I would just spend the time really learning their patterns and over and over and over through multiple stages of their development, and it just took me hours to get it down right. Sliding, jumping up in the air to avoid some crazy, what seems like impossible attacks. But they're just so satisfying. Beating these enemies, beating these bosses is just so satisfying. It reminds me of like a FromSoft battles, fighting like an Armored Core 6. I did a whole review of Armored Core, and beating some of those bosses in Armored Core 6 was unbelievable. And after you do it, after a few hours of frustration, you want to jump up and down and throw your controller in the air in celebration. And then you want to look around for somebody to celebrate with you, and then there's no one around because the kids are at school. So the boss battles, intense. And let me just talk about the map for a minute. Oh my God. Okay, let me just show you the map here. When you think, okay, maybe the map is going to be somewhat large, you don't know. Let's see, how big is this thing going to be, right? And let me just zoom in here on this map. Now, I want you to see how big this thing is. This map is so large. I don't think I've ever experienced a map this large in a game from a puzzle platforming Metroidvania style game. I couldn't believe how big this map was. And just when I thought I had conquered most of it, a whole new couple of sections unfold. Then I've got to go out to the sunken city. I've got to go out into the ocean now. I've got to go all the way out into the ocean, which, by the way, is one of the coolest scenes in the whole game. But then there's a whole other sky area. Are you kidding me? It just kept going and going and going. And then at the end, there were still areas I didn't manage to nail down and explore. So overall, this has been a fantastic start to 2024. I hope this is where this series goes from here. I hope that this opens up. I hope Ubisoft, rolls out new Prince of Persia games in this style over the next few years, because I will swallow them up. I hope that they continue in this vein. And I think this really resurrects a series in a great way. This was kind of a big surprise, to be honest with you. I thought I might enjoy it a little bit. I thought I might play it for a few hours and put it away. I couldn't stop playing it. I just felt obsessed with getting all the jars, getting as many coins as I could, leveling up, going on all these side quests, and of course, and finally completing the game. So yeah, I absolutely loved Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. If you're a Metroidvania fan, you love puzzle platformers, you're going to love this game. Yes, there are puzzles, there are platforms, and there are many, many combos that require your skill in order to have effective combat in this game. So I hope you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments, are you going to pick up Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown? And do you want to see more games like this from Ubisoft? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, check out this other video I did just the other day on my picks for 2024. These are the games I'm most looking forward to in this calendar year. And we'll see you next time, everyone.